Hello, world. Welcome to this episode of Daily Insights. The purpose of this show is to give you something to think about so that you can make yourself better. And today, I want to give kind of an overview. I want to lay out a list of basically everything that you need to cover in order for you to make the most out of yourself in this thing called life. So this is a list of things to study. A lot of times in self-help or personal development or motivation, there's always this structure or this particular approach that a certain person or an organization wants to give you with their brand or their style. But what really matters is your ability to consume ideas and implement those ideas in useful actions. So, if you don't ever watch another video or you don't ever listen to another tape on motivation or personal development or any of that stuff, this is what you need to know. These are the things that you should be studying. Number one is human behavior. You've gotta study human behavior. There's plenty of fields on it. There's psychology, theology, basically every book by Robert Greene, Mastery, The 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction, Laws of Human Nature. There's a vast study of how do humans work, and understanding how humans work is critical because you are one, and you need to understand how we work as a collective, and then you need to understand how we work at an individual level and use that knowledge to tweak yourself at the individual level. So that's number one, human behavior. Number two, you need to study health. You've got to study health. You've got to study the ways to take care of this physical thing that you exist throughout your lifetime. What does health break down into? There's literally two facets, right? There's the physical components of yourself. That is the tangible things that we can touch and feel, that we put into our bodies, that being nutrition, etc. And then along with that physical, we're still talking about the physical makeup of the body itself. What are you made of chemically? What are the parts of you capable of doing? So you got to understand the physical aspect. And then you have to understand how to use that physical aspect. So then we talk about activity. We're talking about, this is how I look, but what can I do? When I was in the Marines, I used to joke around with a lot of the young guys because a lot of the younger guys would outperform me. And that would be their claim to fame. But I did 21 years of service, right? So I would explain to them what you're doing that's impressive in the 2, 3, 4, 5 year mark is not going to matter a decade from now. What's going to matter a decade from now is, are you still here? Are you still alive? And the point I would always make is, it's not about what you can do. It's about what you can keep doing. That's a key phrase. It's not about what you can do. It's about what you can keep doing, right? So when you look at physical activity, you look at everybody who's achieving at a high level, they're not obsessed with the achievement. Yes, they set goals. Yes, they They put something in front of them to give them something to strive towards, but what they're obsessed with is improvement, right? And they don't want to do anything to lose the abilities that they already have. So when you talk about the body, you need to talk about what it's made of, and then the sustainability and activities of it. It's not about what you can do, it's about what you can keep doing. And now you deal with other things in your life when you start to talk about, okay, my body is good, right? You have to study psychology in specific terms for mental health. You've got to find ways to take care of your mind. This alludes back to human behavior, but it's more specific. I'm specifically talking about your mental health. There are two major components of your mental health. Number one is the chemistry, right? What is your brain bathing in all day? And number two, what are you thinking about? And those things affect each other. You think about the wrong things, your chemistry is going to be out of whack. Your chemistry is out of whack, you're going to think about the wrong things. So this leans into the major principle that you need to study, and that is awareness. Awareness. You got to look at yourself. What am I doing? Why am I doing that? How do I feel? What's wrong with me? What's right about me? So I can repeat it. So you got to study human behavior. You got to study physical health. You've got to study mental health. And that's enough to get you to understand how you operate, feel good, and think right. But that's not enough. Now you need a purpose. You've got to have something outside yourself that makes yourself worth being you. What are you trying to accomplish? Why does it matter that you're alive? What impact do you have on this planet that you crawl on, to the degree that when you're done, it will have mattered? So you got to have a purpose. I used to say that the purpose of life is to create something beautiful. And I still believe that is true. The purpose of life is to create something beautiful. Now take that. What does that mean to you? What's beautiful to you? Are you Elon Musk? Is beauty a great scientific achievement? Is beauty very literal, to where you want to make yourself look as good as you possibly can and capture an image of what a human's supposed to look like? Is it parenthood? One of the easiest ways to obviously create something beautiful is to be a parent. It's very obvious. And I'm not talking necessarily physical beauty, I'm talking about creation of life. But whatever your thing is, you've got to find that thing, and you've got to have a purpose. You've got to create something beautiful. You got to write something, make something, teach something, right? Solve a problem. You've got to create beauty. If you don't create beauty, you will be depressed. What else is important? You do have to sustain yourself physically. So I suggest that you climb up Maslow's hierarchy and understand human needs. You got to understand what you need. So you have to have the ability to trap things that will keep you healthy and happy. In other words, success matters. You've got to be able to acquire what you need. You've got to be able to make money, keep money, create systems that make money, add value to yourself so that your ability to generate money doesn't go away. All these things. And when we talk about success, that is the bulk of personal development. And it's mostly setting goals and then establishing disciplines that become habits that make you worthy of being the person who has that, to the point to where you actually get it. So those are the areas. And there's only one area left, and that's interdependence and human interaction. You study human behavior, you know how people work. You use that to understand how you work. You maintain your own body, you maintain your own mind. You use your mind and body to perpetuate your longevity by succeeding in your ability to bring things towards you that keep you in a good state. In other words, you find a way to acquire your needs and climb up the hierarchy of getting your needs met by physical means, success, money, whatever the case may be. But then you have to realize that you are not alone. So the final state is about not independence, but interdependence. And with interdependence, it's your ability to work with other people. This is where the dynamics of relationships apply. And I've summarized the principles of relationships down to one word: expectations. In order for any relationship of any type to succeed, you've got to harness the ability to do two simple things: set and exceed expectations. Those concepts are simple, they're easy to understand, but they are intensely difficult to implement because expectations diverge constantly. So you want to make sure that you use your communication, verbal and nonverbal and behavioral, to set expectations, and then you want to exceed those expectations. You do not want to exceed the expectations by a lot. You want to exceed the expectations just enough to not change them. Because if you set expectations and then you blow those expectations away, you have not exceeded the old expectations. You have created new ones, to which you probably are going to fall short. So you want to set and exceed expectations. That's the main thing you need to know about relationships. So if you study those areas, you should be okay. And the way you study those areas is you subsist on a constant, relentless diet of ideas, and you constantly strive for new and better actions. Your own behavior. You cannot control other people. So it would also behoove you to study this in terms of human behavior, is to study philosophy. I prefer the Stoic philosophy because the bedrock of the Stoic philosophy is that you don't control other people. So don't try. When we talk about relationships, your expectation going in must be that you do not control another person. You may have an objective of becoming influential and being the reason that that person changes their behavior, but that's not you changing that behavior. That's you giving them a reason to change, which is a very different thing, and it's all within your control. So that's a lot, and that's enough. So those are the things to study.